Hello and welcome to Ballistically Speaking BS session number 51. Post intro, read if after intro music, general discussion.
Because I have a shotgun and rifle that I use for, and 22 gauge that I use for ptarmigan, moose, and black bear.
You are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
You're listening to your weekly dose of BS. Ballistically Speaking. The Ballistically Speaking Podcast.
Hide your kids, hide your wife, because she be shooting ptarmigan up in here. No, nobody gets that reference?
No, I have no idea.
Well, it's a mixture of two references.
No, well, yeah, you're right. It is a mixture of two references. One of them was pretty obvious, though, because it was on the... Well, both of them were pretty obvious.
Both of them, yeah.
Yeah. Kurt didn't understand them at all.
I'll join you guys later.
Yeah, it's okay. It's all right. So welcome to Ballistically Speaking, episode number 51. We are joined tonight by Adam. I don't know if you want your last name out in the world or not, so I just haven't been saying it.
I'm pretty stealth.
You're like Madonna. You're just
Okay.
Adam. Oh, you froze for a sec there.
Froze Madonna.
Yeah, and Madonna froze. We're just gonna... You know what I just thought? I was just reading your name again, and I was thinking like Ali G, back from the band. Yeah. So for the did we do that on the air? I did do that on the air, didn't I?
We did.
Yeah. I accidentally banned Jens at the end of last week's episode. I was on my mobile phone and I went to click the button and the whole screen jumped for a second, and I accidentally clicked the ban button, and it not only banned him from the live stream of the show, it banned him from our Facebook page as well, and I had to go into our Facebook page.
And just about deleted him from the earth.
I just about did. But that was last week. This is this week. Should we talk about all of our thankfulness? Or should we do our gratitudes and get this show rolling?
Absolutely.
All right, you're first.
All right. Okay. Brought to you today, as always, by EM Precision Rifles in Leduc, Alberta. Building Canada's finest precision rifles. Commission a build today at emprifles.ca.
Also,
intended for that to rhyme.
Hey, it does rhyme. I just realized that. Hey, also Bolt Action Coffee, bringing specialty coffee to the precision shooting world. Order coffee and merchandise at boltactioncoffee.com.
I think my internet is especially bad here tonight.
That's not good. Am I pausing too?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Well, we'll get through it, I'm sure.
Yep.
Okay, and call sign 66. Welcome to the Brotherhood. Book a course with call sign 66 now at callsign66.ca.
And Odell Engineering. Pick up a Canuck shotgun or a Bergera rifle from your local distributor and tell them Phil sent you. Look them up at odellengineeringltd.com.
Apex Optics. When you buy Apex, precision comes standard. Find them at apexoptics.co.
You know, I still haven't talked to them about an update on the Hunter of the Edge.
We're both just a lot of talk, I think.
Well, that's kind of the
A lot
point.
of talk, just not to the people that matter.
Not to the people that matter. Well, you know, they used to tune into the show all the time, and then when we switched to Friday nights, they have a regular thing on Friday nights, so they aren't able to tune in as much anymore. And the world spins around us, so you know,
Right.
That explains the crux of our situation. Anyway, also Ribstone Gunsmithing, craftsmanship done right. Contact Oscar at ribstonegunsmithing.ca and breathe life back into any firearm.
The Shooting Edge in Calgary, Alberta, home of the Sterling Arms R18. Find them on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and on their website at theshootingedge.com.
And as we found out last week, they have a new, was it a 6-lane axe throwing bay?
Right. Yeah.
in addition to their gun range, plus a lounge. So you can
Right.
literally do everything in that store. You can go hang out, you
There's
can throw sharp blades at things, you can go into the other bay and shoot things, you can get all of your ammunition and firearms and all that stuff.
Didn't
It's
you
a
ever
it's a
say there's
one-stop
a
shop.
kitchen as well?
Well, that's part of the lounge. Yeah.
and kitchen.
Yeah.
So it's not just a lounge.
Well, I mean, it's probably
It's a
bar
full
food.
service lounge thing.
It's a full service lounge. Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
And March Scopes Canada, the Dion Optical design line of rifle scopes has a scope for all your hunting and shooting needs. Find Doug and Nisa at marchscopes.ca.
And just one more mention I'd like to throw out there is Park de Roshi in Saskatoon supplied 4 scaffold built platforms out at the Twisted Rooster Rifle Range last weekend and this weekend for the CRPS events that are going on out there. So Park de Roshi, look them up for your industrial coatings, scaffolding, insulation needs.
Diggity.
We were using those, Rooster, last weekend
And how
for the
would you think?
CRPS match. Yeah. It was good. We didn't get blown off by the intense winds on Saturday. So I was a little worried. Somebody left like a spotting scope on a tripod on top. And I'm like, went and grabbed it and put it back down. I'm like, I don't know. That's getting up there in a lot of wind. But no, they were dead steady.
Yeah.
Just enough height to be a little interesting to get up on, but not too high.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. For your short little legs. Hey, I crawled up on them with my short legs and fat ass. So
Yeah, but did you do it on the clock?
Ooh,
Somebody have a buzzer there, like beep.
They were starting you
Climb
off
up
the
there.
platform, and then you had to jump onto the platform.
Yes, rifle is already on it, but we
Holy
had to.
crap.
Oh, okay.
Sorry to interrupt you, Adam. I just said that like they could barely get on anymore because of Friday nights, and what do you know? Here's Mr. Vanya. How's it going, Vanya? How you doing? Also, we got our first question for Adam. Just going to start out from Jens here. Are you shooting at Roosters this weekend? There's 2 matches being held at the Rooster Ranch this weekend. It is the Hunter and the King of Tutu. Is that what it is? King of Tutu.
That's it.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm going to call it from now on. It's the King of Tutus and the Hunter match. So Jens wants to know.
Do you want the long answer or the short answer?
We're here for a while. You might as well give.
We're here for a while. I got to fill time, hey. So Saturday we're going to make a hardcore run Saturday morning to Medicine Hat, shoot the match in what is it supposed to be, like 36-degree heat,
Is it
with no
really?
shade and like pretty calm winds. Yeah, Medicine Hat.
Ooh.
Shoot our 10 stages.
Fighting over the one tree that's out there.
There's no
That's your
trees.
stage.
There's 0 trees. No, there's 0
Take an
trees.
umbrella.
There's like a porta potty. It's about the most shade.
With not even joking, you should take an umbrella. Not only
I
would
don't
you
know
be
if I
the
own an
coolest
umbrella,
guy,
man.
Yeah.
not only would you be the coolest guy on the range, but you'll literally be the coolest guy on the range.
That's fair.
I go to Walmart
yeah.
right now.
Walmart
Yeah,
umbrella. Get a
we'll see.
Marvel Avengers umbrella or something.
Maybe take suggestions from the viewers for how to survive. I was thinking a little bit of water on the hat or under the hat, and maybe on the back of the shirt.
Whatever
Get the old water cooled suits like the soldiers had to have over in Afghanistan or Iraq, I guess, is where they started with that, isn't it?
The rags.
The rags.
So after Medicine Hat,
dust scarves,
after we-
whatever they're called.
after we try not to get heat stroke in Medicine Hat, and then drive back 5 hours, drive home, try to sleep, maybe shower in there, and then go to the King of .22. Although that gets interesting.
I'm not sure what kind of
That gets
relationship you
interesting.
have with,
Speaking of
Mike.
interesting, yeah.
We keep asking Adam questions and then we keep cutting him off mid-answer.
Well, that's in the the John will be warm. And then after the King of .22, looks like I got to catch a flight here. I just found out today for work to Ontario, so I may have to bail a little early. It's going to get interesting.
Oh, so you have like no weekend at all.
Oh, it's going to be a little intense. Yeah.
That sounds like fun.
All right.
I mean, it'll be a little winter. There'll be nothing going on. it's really cold out and you don't want to go outside, and they'll be like, I wish I had done more that summer. So figure better to do too much than too little.
I got to be honest with you. I think I'd rather be out in minus 35 than plus 35.
Yeah, not me.
Yikes. Well, you enjoy it. The problem is suggesting a solution, a UA thin hoodie.
Yeah, I do wear at all these matches, all these rifle matches were just on the bare open plains in the sun all day. I have been wearing the thin hooded hoodie, long sleeve. Helps at least with the sun burning, if nothing else, and protects the elbows. We're crawling around in the grass and on props and such.
That seems important.
You don't have a problem with sun, do you, Adam?
Yeah, I got to be. I mean, the suntan lotion is in the shooting bag, like right in the backpack I carry around all the time.
And you'd still rather be in plus 35?
Yeah.
Yikes. What can I ask a question? Is Mike Marcello drunk?
Maybe.
I'm reading some of these comments here. I'm just going to move on. So Adam, you do a lot of a precision based competition, but you do both rimfire and you do centerfire competition. The one in Medicine Hat, is that going to be centerfire or rimfire?
That one's rimfire.
So all this weekend is all rimfire.
Yeah, and last weekend, there's just kind of a weird blank empty spot for centerfire in the middle of the summer around here. So
It's too hot.
Yeah, it got filled with rimfire.
Yeah, it's way too hot. That's the problem.
If you don't do it now,
minus
we'll never
35 keeps the barrels cool.
That's too cold. I have like a pretty hard. I know I made that exception when we went to that match, but below 10, I don't want to be out shooting below 10, 11 Celsius.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever. Well, what I wanted to ask you about rimfire and centerfire, like what do you find is really the difference between competing in the two, between rimfire and centerfire?
I mean, it's more the noise than anything. Picking up brass and the noise, that's probably the biggest difference. Other than that, you get to your stage, read the stage description, the stage descriptions read the same. Fill in your ballistic calculator, get your info, get your dope, your data, fill up some magazines, and you get your 90 seconds to 2 minutes, and you're still looking at Mirage, you're still trying to watch hits. A little easier to see misses with center fire sometimes, depending on the background. Mm-hmm. The targets move probably a little better with center fire, as far as like if you hit them off center, the way they will bounce one way, it's a little easier to read. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't know. I treat them basically the same.
You don't take a different approach to one or the other?
No, I don't.
What about your optics? Are you using the same kind of optics for both?
Yeah, I have both rifles set up like really identical as can be. The centerfire ends up being a little bit heavier and longer, but same optic, same chassis, and same trigger. That's important. They both end up being like the Remington 700 pattern short action magazine. So same like mag holder on the side of the body, and yeah, the bolt's a little different, but I don't know. I just kind of deal with it.
I used to contend that we had that rimfire versus centerfire debate quite often, and the one big drawback I believed I saw with rimfire was recoil management, I guess. But I don't know, like you shoot 6BRA, I think, and with the added weight of the center fire plus the muzzle brake on it, are you seeing much difference in recoil anyway?
So yeah, I guess it's fair. That is one of the differences. You can see, after you break the shot in rimfire, your sight picture really doesn't change at all. The scope doesn't really move. The gun doesn't really move. So you've got a really nice view downrange. It's just usually there's not a lot to see. Whereas centerfire, there's more to see, but it can be harder to spot it. If the gun jumps, you lose that. I mean, it depends on the person with the gun, but trying to see through that jump, and if the timing is, the impact is while the gun's jumping, it's tricky to see. As far as like the technique goes, you could probably get away with a little more free recoiling the rimfire, but I try to run pretty firm on both guns. I don't. Maybe sometimes I wonder if I should go to like a pure free recoil on the rimfire, just because there's probably no benefit to being hard on it. But I don't know. Same technique or whatever, what have you. I just don't really want to use a technique for one that's not good on the other.
No, that's true for sure. What the hell was I going to ask you? Fuck, I can't remember. It'll come back to me. Long day.
This is what happens when you're being interviewed by a geriatric.
There isn't even the rifles they're pretty similar weight too. I've got the rimfire pretty heavy. It's probably I don't have a scale that weighs that weight range, but probably like 19-20 pounds for the rimfire and sort of 22-23 for the centerfire.
You just added a bunch of weights on the chassis?
On the rimfire, no, there's no extra weights. All I've added is the barrel's reasonably heavy. It's like a 0.92 inch straight 20 inch. And then I added the Tunican tuner on front, which is just a straight pound of steel hanging off the end of the barrel. So it works really good for balancing the rifle. Debatably good for tuning the rifle. And then I even have the lightweight rear end butt pad holder. Yeah. Not sure, it's got a weird name for it, but the butt pad holder is the lightweight one for rimfire to make the gun balance.
I'm surprised you got it up to 19 pounds without putting all that extra stuff on it. Well, I guess
that's fairly impressive for a rimfire.
Yeah, maybe I overestimated, but it's pretty heavy. Standing there shooting offhand, it feels pretty heavy. It gets heavy quick.
Is this still the same Rimex, or are you shooting something different now?
Yeah, I've been playing around. With the short answer, long answer.
Well, you can go with the long answer. Tell people
go with the long answer
process.
Sure. Yeah, I've been running a Rimex. This would be year 3 now, 3rd season running the Rimex. Coming into around the first 2 years with the same barrel, like a benchmark pre-fit, and it was fine. But rimfire, it's pretty easy to be dissatisfied with the groups. A lot of 1.5 inch at 100 meter, 10 shot. Basically never shoots better than that with SK ammo anyways, the ammo I use. So it's kind of in that hunt for the elusive one whole group. Tried a different barrel this year on the Rimex at 100, 100 meters. And
you're chasing the white whale.
Yeah, well, there might be a way. You keep watching videos, maybe somebody will have the answer on those YouTube videos. I keep hoping anyways. So I tried a different barrel and a Voodoo 360. Picked up a used one. Seemed like a good deal on gun nuts there. So dabbled in the Voodoo for about a month, and I've gone back to the Rimex. It's a tight race between them, but I think I like the Rimex a little more.
Mm-hmm. So that's what you're going to be using this weekend is the Rimex? Yeah, rocking the Rimex. Yeah. Fantastic.
I suppose you see a lot less fatigue over the course of a match with less noise and everything else from a rimfire, especially on a hot, bloody day like it's going to be tomorrow.
Yeah, having to wear those kind of the over-ear pro adds to the sweaty hot factor. Sure. A lot of it's the trucking around, the walking from stage to stage on the centerfire matches. They tend to have us walking kilometers a day, carrying all our gear. A lot of the rimfire matches you stay pretty close together. Like if it's on a square range, you can't walk very far. The rooster matches, your matches at your place there, Rooster, have been special for rimfire matches. We got to walk around, which is pretty awesome. So we wandered the whole property or a bunch of the property last weekend.
Right. Yeah, that's one good thing about out there, especially for rimfire. That you can shoot just about 360 degrees. And I find myself wishing we had a little bit more property there so that we could kind of do the same thing with center fire, but it's just not possible. Like straight line of sight is out to, I think we have 1,140 meters till that hill starts fading away, I guess, right from the firing lines. So, but
Yeah, with the tall grass, it kind of limits what you can shoot. Basically no prone shots, or the only prone shots were off those park
right,
platforms, right? So
there's not a
the
lot of
grass
high
being tall.
vantage points out there.
No, we need to make some hills. That's next on the wish list.
Yeah, I know. Yours and Jens's both. Jens keeps bugging me. I think it's pretty much a weekly mention by this point that he asks about the dozer and the excavator. When are we getting them out there? So
got to know the right people.
Yeah, as soon as he raises some money for some diesel fuel, I think. All right.
So Adam, how often are you practicing? Because you obviously, especially during the summer, you're competing a lot. Are you practicing in between competitions?
It varies. Yeah, mostly practicing. The matches cut into the practice time for sure, but still try to get out. 3 days on the range is maybe an average week, maybe a bit below average. 4 is a good week. Try to go pretty hard during our short season. What's that?
That's including competition, 3 to 4.
Yeah. You kind of got to include the competitions because it cuts into the, if you're Saturday and Sunday shooting a match, tough to practice. So. It counts. I mean, you shoot a bunch, shoot 100 rounds in a day. That's pretty good practice. It's probably better practice than a practice session.
And then, do you really take an off season, or unless it's minus 35?
No, like mid-September till May 1st is the off season.
So then, how often are you shooting in that off season?
That is snowmobile and pistol season. So I shoot pistol about once a week, kind of in the indoors in the winters season. Snowmobile is just a little bit of mountain sledding. So we do like 3 trips, I don't know, but
okay. Yeah. Cool. That's all I wanted to know about your shooting.
Yeah.
That's it.
Fair enough.
Okay, show's over, folks.
You want to talk PPC, handgun shooting at indoor PPC game? A lot of our viewers familiar with that one. That's good.
Well, is that even still is that still pretty lively? Like obviously you're not getting a lot of new members, I'm guessing, but how's the health of that right now?
Yeah, it's same people hanging in there as long as we can, I think is the answer. We're kind of stuck with our whatever people have the handguns have them. Hopefully they stay enthusiastic about them and we can shoot off a bit more ammo, use up the ammo we have. After that, who knows? But I still got some ammo to burn through and maybe see if I can get a little better scores on the old PPC course of fire.
You think a lot of guys PPC obviously is different than pistol. You can still get some PPCs right now, but do you think that once people go through the ammo or the stock that they have right now, that there'll be a lot less people shooting pistol?
Might happen. It might happen for me. It'll be hard to make that decision. Like, do I want to re-up and buy a bunch more ammo? At some point, it seems like the end is in sight, right? So,
yeah,
it's kind of hard
tough
to
call.
know where to go from here.
Feels like a diminishing return sort of thing, I guess. Eh?
Yeah, I think all the handgun shooters in Canada are thinking about that.
Yeah,
trying to have fun with it while we can, anyways.
It makes you wonder when is if an early election isn't called, when is the next election? Is it October of next year?
Yeah, it would be.
Little less than a year and a half away.
Yep.
Be interesting to see what happens with things like the handgun legislation, with a different government in power.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm sticking to the thought that I've kind of always had that it's not going to be first on the list of things to fix after this 9-year blunder.
Yeah, no, certainly not. But I mean, things do tend to be cyclical. Even even the AR, this isn't the first time that the AR has been banned, but it doesn't always, it doesn't really come back very quickly, does it? We seem to go very long periods of time with no toys, and then short periods of time with getting some of the toys back. But
when was the AR? Was it completely banned at one time?
It was prohibited for a short period of time when the hell was it? It was non-restricted, and then it was moved to prohibited for a period of time, and then moved into the restricted category after that. And I can't remember exactly when that was. I'm sure somebody is a better historian than I am that's on the chat. But it was moved into the prohibited category for a period of time from the non-restricted category where it was originally.
Well, one thing about that, I think, is it's never been so much in the, I guess, in the social space, right?
Mm-hmm.
Back then, when it was affected, like what you're talking about, I don't think it wasn't such a common topic of conversation.
But I mean, everything
Advent
the
of social
conversation
media.
around everything is more amplified these days. I don't
It
know
is,
if it'll
because-
really make that much of a difference. But what do you think, Adam?
Well, I don't follow these things as close as you guys, but since I've been doing the shooting thing for something like 13 years, I can only recall it getting better once, right? Like when they got rid of the long gun registry.
Yeah.
I think that was the only time it actually got better for us or for me that I can recall. Everything else has been less and less, worse and worse.
That one took a long
That's really
time.
the only thing I can think of that was a positive.
Yeah, those
And now
ones
it's
from
back,
98
so.
to 2012.
Yeah,
Something like that. It's a long time.
I think so. Yeah.
So you're thinking that people are just going to give up on handgun then? I mean, I can't really argue with that. I mean, I'm not much for doing competitions, but I know I haven't shot a single handgun since the freeze was even announced, let alone enacted.
Yeah, and to some extent, the people that like handguns really like handguns because there's kind of that barrier where they prove themselves where they really want to do it between the licensing and getting a transfer and having to deal with the storage and the transportation challenges, right? So they obviously like handguns if you've got a handgun in it. So they're enthusiastic group of folks, right? But
yeah, you really have to like it though.
Yeah. It is good fun though. I will say it's. I still think shooting a handgun's by far the most challenging thing you can do with a firearm. Like it's there's a lot of technique.
That's for damn sure.
In my opinion. Yeah.
So you do which do you like more? Oh, obviously this is I'm pretty sure we know the answer to this, but which do you like more, handgun or do you like shooting bolt gun more?
I mean, handgun's pretty sweet. It's a pretty good game. It's like I said, a lot of technique to learn. It's more of a skill thing than a knowledge thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so in that way, it's different. But I've played that game. I enjoyed it, and just kind of ran out of talent and hit the ceiling. But as I've done with other shooting sports too. So now I'm on this one for now.
While. I ran into my ceiling almost as soon as I stepped through the door.
It really is different though. I mean, that's kind of the beauty of shooting, I think, is every different type of shooting, like it's so vastly different than the type before it. But we're definitely scraping the bottom of the barrel in terms of variety these days. I suppose we can start doing some pump action shotgun competitions. That sounds exciting.
Well, at least the side by side or over under. An over under is still a nice piece of kit.
If
we still have a deadly range here too, a really nice range in Saskatoon.
Yeah.
For shotguns, the Saskatoon Gun Club, really wicked facility.
Just on the south side of the gate, on the range, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, if it gets down to that, I'm just going to start doing like, what do they call it? Western style shooting.
Yeah, with the lever gun.
Yeah. Well, with the lever gun, with the double barrels, and with the wheel guns, I'll start cosplaying. I'll
Cowboy
do the whole
action
thing.
stuff.
Yeah, I'll start calling people partner,
Yeah.
tipping my hat to
Buy,
all the ladies.
buy a big hat and some chaps.
Yeah, hopefully I won't forget to wear jeans underneath my chaps. Cowboy action, that's what it's called. Thank you, Ryan Piper.
Yeah.
Competitive with a 22 gauge, says Spudman.
Right. Yeah, no kidding. I'm not sure what Jens is referring to. He says, well, if you're looking for a new rabbit hole to go down, Kurt can hook you up.
Oh, I think we know what he's talking about.
Why is that my fault?
Are we talking about putting as many electrical sockets into a 10-foot trailer as you can possibly fit?
It's either the trailer or ELR. I'm not sure which.
What do you need the sockets for?
Well, you got to ask Jens that. He's got like 27 sockets in a 10-foot
Listen,
trailer.
if there's anything Jens knows, it's electricity.
Yeah, he sure does. He sure does.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not wrong.
If we're talking the long range game, I am interested too. I haven't seen those guns shot. Like you guys have brought yours to the range there, and I've seen them, but I haven't seen them shots. And with all the spotting we do for the PRS game, definitely be interested to try to spot for those big bullets going a long ways. It'd be interesting. So
yeah, it's a little bit different. I mean, same fundamentals, but you're looking for that bullet in a totally different place than what you're when you're looking for when you're spotting PRS, right? Yeah, you can see trace and everything, but that trajectory is fairly shallow for the most part in PRS. Whereas I think at 2 miles our culminating point is it's over 300 feet from line of sight. It's a bit of a different game for sure.
Yeah, I've even put the King of 2 Mile at Furlong's place. It's on my calendar. I just got to talk to some people. But first queries I put out sounded like we couldn't just go and spot, at least not behind the shooter. So if you weren't behind the shooter, I don't think you're going to see trace. At least that's the way it works in PRS.
Yeah,
you could look for the dust and the splash, but that's not the same.
Well, and you won't get much out of it if you do happen to see the odd bit of trace from somewhere other than where the shooter's at or behind the shooter, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's really kind of hard to decipher what you're seeing. I think it would be, at least anyway. It's just a guess, because I'm telling you, you get a little bit off line of sight, and even if you do see the bullet, it's the data that you get from it is wrong, or that you think you get from it. So
that's one of it's one of the fun things about PRS is spotting. I like, I'll be one of the spotters all the time with the tripod and the binos, watching guys and watching those bullets fly. And you get some lighting conditions. We get some days where you just basically, even you're right behind them, you pretty much don't see the bullet fly at all. But most other days you watch and you can see that little tunnel where that bullet's flying. Sometimes you maybe see the bullet in there. It might just be the tunnel of the air, but and then lead it right onto target and then see the target move like right where you see that trace head to, and it's pretty cool. Try to be like, yeah, I could see that one. And then you hear the ting, 3 seconds later.
Right.
That's a pretty fun thing to do.
Do you do most of your spotting with binoculars or spotting scope? Like rimfire, it's pretty much a given, I think, right? Just it's binoculars.
Yeah. I've always been a bino guy. I've never owned any real spotting scope other than like the $50 Cabela special that you can't see anything through. I don't know. I realized pretty quickly, maybe at like one of my first matches, using somebody's spotting scope, that I don't like having the one eye. You're just trying to keep that second eye squinted. Can only do it for a few minutes. Like I can't do it all day. So
yeah,
I'm a bino guy. Just the ability to use both eyes and no eye strain or
Well, and I
not to
think
the
things
extent.
make sense a little bit more, plus your depth perception, right? We were built to see things with two eyes, not necessarily one. And I find I lose depth perception quite severely with just one eye. It's yeah. I always find going back to a pair of binoculars for shorter range stuff is a lot easier to use for sure.
There's a whole list of pros and cons both ways.
Sure.
The fact that we're shooting the scopes, a lot of times we're spotting to get ready to, you claim we're doing it to score for the guy shooting, but really we're doing it to be watching the wind and seeing where people are missing and seeing what the target looks like when it gets hit a certain side, to try to learn for ourselves and benefit our own shooting. And if I'm going to shoot a stage, I'm going to be on, let's say 16 power is a pretty normal number. So a 40 power, 30 power telescope, like spotting scope, it's a very different view. Everything looks a lot different at that range. You get back to those binos at the 12, or I used to use 18s, and it's the same mag as the scope is. So
right.
It's more about what you're going to see, preps you for what you're going to see when you get on the stage.
Right. And I suppose what's most important to see downrange, I guess, right? What we're looking for in ELR is not the same thing you're necessarily looking for in regular PRS and games like that, I guess. Spotting scope with a cell phone adapter is nice. We have a Tacticam spotting scope adapter or a system, I guess, right, Chris?
Yeah.
And we've tried it a little bit. We haven't really put it to the test too much. It looks all right so far.
Is this the one Chris used in his newest video on the YouTube channel?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Not the most effectively, but I used it. I think I had the binos out of focus a little bit.
Oh, is that right?
I'm pretty sure I did. But, it is nice being able to see through the binoculars on an LCD screen rather than having to be right up close to it. I think the big difference with a cell phone adapter versus the Tacticam, your average cell phone screen is bigger.
Mm-hmm.
But I also don't know, like there's a lot of, cell phone adapters, you get them from Amazon or Wish or whatever else. And I have no idea what the quality difference is from one to the next. So I don't know if you're getting, if they're all pretty decent or if, 90% of them are trash, or I don't know which brands to look for or anything like that. I've never used a cell phone adapter.
But your cell phone's, you're in a bright daylight, your cell phone screen can't run for 6 hours, right?
Oh, for sure. And for
Between
a
the battery and the
that
heat.
would be very difficult. Yeah. Well, and even with the Tacticam, I don't think that especially if you're recording what it's looking through, I don't think it's going to last you all day. Now, obviously it's a replaceable battery system, so they sell additional batteries for it, which you don't have with your cell phone. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if the system exists out there that would allow you to really do it all day at a competition.
Likely not a system that any one of us can afford, at least anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, you're talking about to a guy who's spending all of us have spent thousands of dollars on a single rifle. It's just a matter of priority, I suppose. But I don't know if anything really even exists out there that, whether it's expensive or not,
Throw that Jens comment up here. That's a good one.
Yeah, so as long as you have a long enough USB cable, I suppose. Can you imagine how hot that'll get though? Like in plus 35 degrees, you need an umbrella for your cell phone.
Too funny. Yeah, AC's going in the trailer next.
Is he actually putting an AC in there?
No,
Because that would be the
well,
ticket.
At least not to my knowledge, anyway.
What he should do is mount a Max Air fan to the side of the trailer. Obviously, you can't put it on the top of the trailer.
No, that's true.
Maybe even in the front of the trailer.
Right.
They make Max Air makes a side mount trailer fan. It's meant to be mounted in the wall. Hey, there's Todd Wilson.
Yes, sir.
What's shaking, Todd? What? Okay, so I gotta believe that the problem is just trying to be funny, but Aguila 20 grain, 360 feet per second, 1 foot drop at 15 meters. You see the bullet with the naked eye, but it does not penetrate thick cardboard. Is there something I'm missing, or is that comment meant to be taken as it was written?
I don't know.
I think he's talking about spotting it.
Yeah, he was talking about spotting for sure, but that's a very specific joke. And I gotta believe that there's a story behind it.
What action did you use on your slingshot, man?
Well, that's what it makes me think of, is that he's pulling 20. Well, first of all, I don't know if Aguila even makes a 20 grain bullet, but he's like, you're pulling bullets out of your rimfire and flinging them out of a slingshot. He says it's real. There's no way that could be real. Why would they do that? Why would they make that?
I mean, CCI Quiet. How different is that than a CCI Quiet?
How fast does the CCI Quiet travel?
What's those baby 22 LRs? Shorts? There's something shorter than a short.
Would they be 360 feet per second, though?
I don't know. I don't know anything about them.
I would think twice that, wouldn't it? I don't know. Don't know.
It sounds pretty weak. Thing. I don't know. That sounds pretty weak.
What would you do with it other than so I think Ryan is saying that the CCI Quiet is 710 feet per second.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like that is like twice the speed of this Aguila 20 grain. What are you doing with that?
I don't know. Shooting cats.
Well, it's going to do is piss the cat off.
Yeah,
you're probably not even plugging ravens with that. You're just going to make them attack you and remember you for the rest of their lives.
Oh,
I can't think of a use for it.
Revolver.
Yeah, I honestly don't. Okay, problem. You got to tell us what Aguila is marketing it for. Cats and
read there.
Yeah, well, at 710 feet per second. Yeah, okay. I understood that he cornered it through a revolver, but I mean, why? Right. Why?
I don't know. Just for fun.
Todd's answer wins. It's for shooting your little brother. It's the only way you could shoot someone and not get arrested. I imagine you could still get arrested for it, but
you might.
Yeah. Hey, Adam, do you do a lot of experimenting with reloading for your centerfire shooting?
Not a ton. I play with it, like pretty standard load workup stuff. I don't try anything out of left field. Try to stay along the path that other people have figured out works, but just play with charge weights and speeds a little bit. Play with bullet seating depths a little bit. I just recently tried a second bullet. Like, that tells you how adventurous I am. Third year shooting this centerfire PRS 6mm BRA, and just tried a different bullet like a couple weeks ago. So I'm more of like a stay with what works, but sometimes it doesn't work perfectly, and at that point, then I'll like try doing something else that somebody says works.
So you tried a different bullet. Were you overwhelmed, underwhelmed, adequately whelmed?
So far so good. It probably, yeah. So I went, regular 109 hybrid target, the Burger.
Okay.
Pretty nice bullet, but the price has been going up, and they've been really hard to get. So I've been like scouring gun nuts on the private sales and picking them up from people who for some reason have 800 to 1,000 that they don't want anymore.
How does that even happen? Are these people that have just been like hoarding this?
Well, sometimes it's like 985 bullets, right? And it's like, well, it's pretty clear what happened there. They bought 1,000, shot 15, and something happened. Hard to say what, but it's hard to think they're dissatisfied with the bullet. Like, it's pretty widely known to be a nice bullet. I've had some good success with it. Lots of people have. But just in case I was going to be unable to get those, I was getting a little worried. I was going to run out this year if I hadn't found those like private sales. So I was getting a little worried trying to find a plan B. So yeah, Cabela's match burners, Barnes match burners 112s, and wanted to give those a try. Just more available and less money. So shooting paper at 200 there.
Sorry, my internet is lagging bad. I was just asking you how you found those match burners to be. We've had this conversation before that they surprised me for the cost of them, and that I think they are a very underrated bullet.
Yeah, the cost is crazy. They're, from looking at the cost, it's like they're like a budget bullet that's got problems, but shooting them on paper, they seem, the barrel's got more rounds in it now. But we're talking the difference of like, I don't know, like 3/8 of an MOA to like quarter MOA or something, right? Or like that size group difference at like 200 meters. So they seem to shoot good enough for me. If they can do like 3/8 of an MOA at 200, that's good enough for me on paper. I'm satisfied with that, plenty satisfied. And then it's just about shooting them long range, which I haven't had a chance to do. But we've got some guys locally here that have been running them, and I've seen them make some pretty deadly shots. And then you look at their calculator and look at the BC and get pretty jealous. So the best BC I've ever seen. Yeah.
Is that right?
On the burgers.
The 112 match burners.
No kidding. Are they how do they compare to the 115 D-Tacs?
I haven't played with those.
Especially high BC, are they though?
I'm not sure. I haven't. I don't really know anybody that's shooting one. Yeah, I'm not sure about those ones. But like a 109
because of availability. To be honest,
not sure. The 109 hybrid, it's like a G7 trues into like a 292 or something. Let's say.
Okay.
And guys are like locally showing me like a 305, 310 on this 112 match burner.
Oh wow.
It's a pretty big step up. Maybe so there's like there's the 115s that I'm not familiar with. Might have it beat for they got them beat for weight, might have them beat for BC. And then like what is it, the A tips, like a 110 or something, the A tip, but I don't know anybody running those.
Yeah, very few and far in between. There's also the 110 Match King. I'm not sure the BC on it either, but they're fairly rare. I think they're a decent bullet, but not a lot of guys using them. I found
just
them,
around here, go to the match, you won't find many Sierras.
No,
for whatever reason.
Anymore, hey, yeah.
And like I say, I'm not a try it all, or I didn't buy one of every bullet and see what shot best. I just bought lots of 109s because pretty respected, pretty hard to go wrong. Like confident that I can't go wrong, just getting a bunch of these. Right. And now just because they were hard to get, I kind of checked out these match burners. So we'll see which one I go with. One thing with the match burners, they're super long. So trying to fit them in the magazine is a problem. Having to jump them just to fit them in the magazine, I have to jump them. I can't put them where I want them.
So where do you want them? Do you kind of have a typical? This is where I want to be with a bullet from the rifling kind of guy, or do you test a lot of that? So like first year, first six, first custom action with a nice barrel, nice benchmark barrel made by a nice quality gunsmith. I did play around with it, kind of just went with Cortina's videos were out at the time and just went with the Cortina videos, like 20 thou jump and go 3 thou more, just kind of see what shoots. And yeah, I don't know. I ended up somewhere around there, right? Like in the 20 to 30 thou jump range when it was a new gun. But then I checked it like halfway through, like 1,000 rounds in, check your jump, and all of a sudden you're jumping like 80 thou. And it's like, well, obviously my throat has been burning out this whole time. I haven't been doing his thing of try loading longer, like every time you go to the range. So yeah, I set them out more, went back to try to get like a
40 thou, but then second year that gun didn't really shoot. So I wouldn't advise, whatever I did didn't work very well because that second year with that rifle did not shoot well. This year I'm on a new barrel, and I went back to 20 thou with those same bullets, and it was shooting good. I shot some really nice groups, like the best groups I've ever shot in my life on paper. And probably some of that we could argue is the tuner. That was, before I played with the tuner, kind of normal groups, kind of half MOA, and then you start playing with that tuner, the spearhead tuner, and all of a sudden get like a quarter MOA group. Like I've never shot a group like that in my life. Right. So yeah.
Okay, so let's get into this a little bit.
Okay.
How many different conditions have you tested that tuner in, and is it consistent across whatever set of varying conditions? Because this is, well, you know as well as I do that it's been a fairly contentious topic. Some guys swear by them, other guys say it's just voodoo. But there's got to be something.
Other guys are trying to prove that it's voodoo.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and most of the guys that say they work are selling them, which complicates things too, right? Including me. I've got a spare one. I've got an extra one that I'm trying to sell locally. So technically, I fit that bill too.
So they work.
They work. Yeah, you should see the groups I post. You're gonna need somebody with a lot deeper pockets, like what's that guy in the States, Applied Ballistics. To really test it out, I think, because I don't know. Brian Litz, between the cost, and that's not really the reason I load to get small groups is to go shoot matches, not to then shoot more small groups and see if I can go smaller. So, I shot that load tuner development. I went out there, tuner set at 0, started shooting 5-shot groups. So I shot 0 and I think I shot like 3, and it was like, say an 1.5-inch group at 200 meters. Center fire. Center fire. So I was like 3/4 MOA group, maybe, right around 3/4 MOA group, shot 4 shots. I was like, okay, I don't really need to keep shooting more. That's one trick I will say is when you're doing tuner testing, if you start shooting a group and like by the 3rd shot, even by the 2nd shot, if it sucks, you might as well stop that group. Like there's no point burning more rounds on that setting.
Right.
Yeah, so I do that. So I shoot like forward, like, that one's nothing special. Twist it 2 settings over, 2 notches over, the way the spearhead's marked. Shoot another group, like 4 groups, 4 shots, like pretty similar. Do it again, then you start getting a smaller group, and then do it again, you get like a tiny group. Do it again, you get a pretty nice group, and at that point I stopped. Right, so we're kind of talking like 30 rounds. It's kind of all I have appetite for shooting, just to play with the tuner, considering the cost of these center fire rounds to shoot.
Sure. Yeah.
And like, okay, I guess I'll put it at that setting that's good, and run it like that. Sort of the proof. The only real consistent proof I can offer is just the gun shot. I shot that setting at a couple matches, center fire matches, 2 days, and won both those matches. So like that was the kind of the first couple matches I thought my gun was like shooting where I told it to shoot for the whole match.
Yeah.
I wasn't coming off stage just thinking, I thought I made a good shot there and my bullet hitting over here, and then the next stage, it's hitting over here, having to tweak my 0, having to tweak my BC, like between stages. So these 2 matches, the gun was just shooting where it should have been shooting, like all 4 days, right? So I don't know, it shot well. And then I came back and
pretty good data.
It's
at least, right? Yeah.
For myself, yeah. But it's not, I don't think I proved anything. But I do think, and then, so I did it again, came back, did it again, switched to those bullets, picked the charge weight that seemed like a good speed that I was happy with, and just made sure that I just did a charge workup, like 1/10 of a grain at a time, shot like 5-shot groups, ended up at a speed and a pressure and a charge weight that I was satisfied with. I thought this will be safe. This will survive shooting in the rain. This isn't over stressing my brass. And it shoots pretty good groups. It shoots pretty good SDs. Came home, loaded a bunch of those, and then shot this Thursday morning. So just like yesterday morning. And again, tuner, that same procedure with the tuner. And by, I think the 4th setting I tried, it was again, shooting like 3/8 MOA group, 5 shots. And I was like, okay, well, and the other settings weren't like that. The other settings were like 3/4 MOA, 5/8 MOA, right? Bigger, still solid groups, but not tiny groups. And you change the setting and all of a sudden shoots a tiny group. So
It's
that part's
interesting.
nice.
The anecdotal evidence is certainly there for tuners, isn't it?
For sure.
Yeah. So whether it'll do that tomorrow or
it'll be interesting to kind of hear what your perception is by the end of the day tomorrow. Or sorry, do you have a tuner on your rimfire as well?
Well, so rimfire is a different story.
He's got a 1 pound tuna can on there.
Got the 1 pound tuna can. Nice unit. You got a lot of steel and machining for the $1. But I was playing with that one last year. I got that tuner last year on the rimfire, and I'm a little more willing to spend ammo shooting lots of higher shot, 5 to 10 shot groups, playing with settings on that thing, trying a lot more settings. And because it just wouldn't give me any good groups, try more settings. So I shot a lot of ammo while shooting calm conditions, adjusting the tuner, shoot a group, adjust the tuner. Did that a lot last year, and never was able to get it to really, really change the group size. I don't know, nothing consistent. And it was the kind of inconsistency where you shoot like 10 settings I would shoot, maybe more. And then I'd go back to like the smallest one and it would be a crappy group again. Like it wouldn't be as good as it was when I was going through it the first time. So if it's not even consistent enough to like go away from it and go back to it that same night, it's not help. Like in my mind, it's not helping at all. So at that point I was just running it for the weight. But rimfire, I've tried a number of nice nights, but again, we're talking about a gun that shoots like 1.5 MOA or a little more, 10 shot groups at 100. So maybe there's something wrong with the gun where if your gun sucks, the tuner's not going to make it good. So
right.
Well, with rimfire too, we always have to acknowledge the limitation of what you're shooting. It's not like you can play with your loads or your different BCs or Benny can't even get a good BC out of a 22 bullet. So
yeah, and this is like $10 a box ammo, right? I'm not shooting the best ammo, so it could easily just be that the ammo's not good enough to shoot better than that. But.
Yeah, I really question whether any 22 ammo is good enough to shoot better than that.
Well, it's the way they charge for it. They think it is, as manufacturers.
That's the truth. Yeah, it sure is.
It's pretty high prices for what looks like the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if Lindsay J. Pring is complimenting you or complimenting your rifle that you were talking about, but one of the two.
Knowing Lindsay, I'm scared to ask.
So I got to take us back to the 22 conversation for a second here, and then I want to ask another question. But so Jeff apparently says that there's a fly shooting challenge now. So I really question the ethics of flinging a gun all around trying to track a fly, but I would be interested to see how
you're probably missing something.
So, but
so shooting flies, Chris. Yeah, I've got a photo of a paper target of mine where there's just a little bit of blood left where I shot a fly. There was a fly on one of my papers shooting rimfire, and I'm really? Like, just see if I can hit this fly, and sure enough, I hit the fly and just left a little blood spot just outside that bullet hole.
Staged, totally staged.
I murdered a grasshopper one time with a 223 at 100 yards. I thought that was pretty cool.
So Problem looked up the Aguila Calibri. They marketed it for close range hunting and target. It is powderless. So I looked it up, and it looks like absolute weirdness to me. And I'm gonna let you guys.
Are those the ones where they like ran out of powder on the line, and like we should be able to sell these. We'll just make a different box, right?
I gotta believe that just happened someday, right? And they're like, yeah, box them up. So silence is apparently deadly, first of all, at 300 and some odd feet per second. I question that. But anyways, specialized powderless round, 20 grain lead bullet. It's shaped exactly like a pellet. what you shoot
That's
out of a pellet
interesting.
gun. And then, yeah, obviously it's powderless. Now it says at the muzzle, it has a 420 foot per second velocity. After 100 yards, it still has a 376 foot per second velocity.
Hmm.
But only
Single
8.
digit
Yeah.
E's
Exactly.
instead of ES's.
Yeah, exactly. Also, single digit energy. 8 foot pounds and 6 foot pounds.
That's
But I mean,
barely a slap in the face.
it looks neat. But you know what else I looked up? I looked up like the average velocity of a .177 pellet out of an air gun, and it's like 700 feet per second. So why wouldn't you just use an air gun?
Maybe he doesn't have a damn air
Well, he didn't
gun.
buy an air gun.
Well,
Bought a
fuck,
22 LR.
That's right.
I guess so. I don't know. What do I know? So
North America, damn it. Freedom of choice.
freedom of choice, yeah. So then it said ammo barrel combination is the key in rimfire IMO. Very low vibrations for a tuner to work on. It was an interesting thought.
Hmm.
Makes some sense, yeah. It's hard to imagine the barrels jumping around very much with the low pressure and the low energy and
Yeah,
how thick these barrels are.
yeah. Lindsay said yes. I'm assuming he was complimenting both
I've
you
heard,
and the
I've
rifle.
heard
I
Lindsay
guess.
says yes to most things.
Okay, that's a fair comment. Obviously, this wouldn't shoot in semi-autos. That Calibri would not shoot in semi-autos. There's no way. And here's an interesting comment: would you fire one of those things out of your 20-inch barrel? Like, would you even dare do it?
Hard no.
Yeah,
I don't even
me
fire
neither.
like copper plated ammo through my competition rimfire.
Well, okay, I guess it's your baby, but more what I was thinking about was like the 20-inch barrel. Like, would you shoot a powderless 22 out of a 20-inch barrel?
Maybe see if anybody else has done it before I did it, kind of thing.
Very diplomatic answer.
I am not the guinea pig. Hashtag.
Yeah, exactly. That's hilarious. Okay, the last thing I wanted to ask you about tonight, I wanted to ask you, so you guys were talking about reloading and buying and looking on gun nuts and all this kind of stuff. And I kind of just have a general question because you would think that purchasing ammunition, and I genuinely don't know the answer to this because I haven't been reloading. I'm not in the channels. I'm not on gun nuts. It seems like Twitter to me, and I'm just not interested in it. So you got your retailers and they retail ammunition. Some of them retail bulk ammunition. A lot of them don't. But it seems like when you're buying secondhand, whether you're at a gun show and some guys trying to wheel deal, or talking to people who are buying off of gun nuts or buying off of gun post or whatever private deal, everybody's always got these bulk bags of ammunition. So where do folks get that shit from? I say ammunition, I meant to say components. Is this some big secret that I'm not yet privy to? Are you guys going to get shot for telling me the answer to this question?
I don't
What are
know.
these bags of components? I'm not familiar with this, Chris.
Yeah,
so you haven't either. So Kurt, 2 years ago at the Calgary Gun Show, you walk up to me and you hand me this giant bag of 1,000 ELDM 147 grain Creedmoors.
Right.
Where the hell does that come from? I mean, you bought it from a dude at the show.
So Hornady, no. I got it from a private sale off Gun Nuts, actually.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I'm talking about.
Calgary. Yeah.
So where does he get it?
So Hornady does sell bulk lots of some components.
Okay.
Other manufacturers may as well. I'm not sure, but I know I got two 2,000 round boxes of the 147 ELDMs, and there's that 1,000 round bag that I sent home with you.
Okay.
So and it depends on the caliber. I think like I also have 75 grain Bowtail hollow points for my 223 that you buy in 600 round boxes, just the bullets.
So in a world where it seems like secondhand is often selling for more than retail, where do you find this stuff?
Just by chance. I mean, you gotta be Johnny on the spot often.
Man,
I mean,
what a stupid industry. I suppose I understand why they're selling their small 50 and 100 round boxes at Cabela's, because they make a hell of a lot more money than if everybody was just buying 1,000 round bags. But like, why wouldn't everybody just buy 1,000 round bags? Like, is this they purposefully don't put very many of these out and they just, they create this secondary market for it? Is this like the Ticketmaster scam, or?
I don't know. I think it used to be that components were plentiful enough that I think probably most hand loaders would chip away at 100 round box at a time, or 1 pound of powder at a time, or maybe a couple of 100 round sleeves of primers at a time. And now now it may be back to that small lot purchasing, simply because of the cost of the components now. I don't know, or the availability as well, right? But
that's interesting.
When
all my stuff is factory packaged, I will say. Like, the only thing I bought that wasn't factory packaged was some Hornady 55-ish grain 22 cal bullets, soft point. I think they were Hornady soft points.
Okay. From
like North Pro, and those were in like bags of 100. They look kind of repacked, but everything else is like factory packaged.
Yeah. I can't remember what site I was on the other day, and they had several listings, at least. I can't remember whether they were actually available or not. But again, back to Hornady, 2,000 round box of bullets or whatever. But there's
Hornady has, like, besides the 100 bullet box, they do have like bigger size boxes, like a 600 or 1,000 count box. Burger and the 6 mil bullets has the usual is the 100 round box, but they also have a 500 round box.
I never see those at retailers. I might just be missing them.
Yeah, you're probably just not looking for that bigger box, like,
or not looking every fucking day and making a part-time job out of it.
Yeah.
Oh, the gun nuts thing is, you got to check it 6 times a day in case that deal comes up. You got to be the first on it.
That's nuts.
Yep.
I guess that's why they call it gun nuts. Yeah. Sierra sells bulk on their site, probably just in the USA, says Ryan. Yeah, see, that's the other bullshit. Not just in the USA.
No, I have several 500 round boxes of varying flavors of Sierra bullets.
So where did you get them from? Just a retail store?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Right place, right time?
Yep, that's it.
Good Lord. Okay. Like Midway USA sells in bulk what they call blemished bullets in a lot box of 500 and 1,000 rounds.
Yeah.
Probably a lot more available in the US than here, which again, is another thing that chaps my ass. I mean, they're right across the border, but we're not allowed to go across and get shit. But yeah. So Jeff clarified his fly target. This is the last thing I'm interested in here, but he clarified his fly competition. It's a paper target with flies on it. I don't know if they're real or not, but you set it out to 25 and 50 yards, and you see how good of a shot you are hitting it, but it's also on a time limit how fast you can do it. I'm going to start a polka dot competition, and it's going to be a paper target at 25 and 50 yards with tiny little like black dots on it, and the targets are going to be cheap because it's just a piece of paper, and I'm going to put dots on it with a Sharpie.
I'm just going to reinvent the dot drill.
Yes.
I mean, it's a good challenge. We've done it. We had some indoor one year. Guys were going a little winter crazy, so we had some indoor rimfire rifle precision matches.
Yeah.
And we were using paper targets, and so they'd be printed bullseyes or what have you, different shapes on the target. You have to hit them from different positions. So it's mostly a positional challenge. And that one target was just I'm pretty sure it was flies, like you said. I think it was just full of like 25 flies on a piece of paper, like 8.5 by 11.
And they were just pictures of flies.
Yeah, like a silhouette of a fly. And
Jeff led me to
yeah,
believe that they were shooting actual flies.
I'll take Jeff. I'll take local guy Jeff, the other Jeff B. I think in that competition, I'll put my money on him over just about anybody. He
Yep.
shot like I think all 25 in like 90 seconds with 10 round magazines and his bolt CZ. Like it was
He's the
pretty
Mr.
crazy. Everybody else was
Miyagi of
like
fly
10 to
shooting.
15 rounds. What's that?
Yeah,
He's the
that guy
Mr.
can shoot.
Miyagi of fly shooting.
He can when he gets after it, he gets a little like sees red or something. He just like goes full semi-auto and gets it done fast.
I don't know, bro. I just black out and flies start dropping.
I think it's the hat, Adam.
Well, this is indoors though. I don't think he was wearing a hat. Like the hat doesn't explain it. Yeah.
You know what hat I'm talking about, though, hey?
Well, the Tilly or
Yeah.
Tilly hats are awesome. Don't make fun of Tilly hats.
I'm not making fun of it. You hypersensitive bitch.
I like Tilly hats. I wear Tilly hats.
they did sell out though. It has to be said.
Who sold out?
Tilly, I think they're all made in China now.
What?
Oh, no.
Yeah, Google it.
You know what? I don't care. I've got a Tilly hat. I've had it for like 16 years at this point. So I'm going to look at it, and I hope it was made not in China. Because if it is, you're going to break my heart.
No, the other ones are still fine. Just gotta wash them every once in a while.
Yeah, that's good advice. Yep. Definitely good advice. Anyway, Adam, what do you want the world to know? There's at least, I don't know, like 4 to 6 people that are going to hear your words all over the world. You get the last word.
I don't know. A couple things inside my head when I'm out shooting. Things like phrase of why miss. So to me, I think that way after a stage, like why did I miss that target? Analysis afterwards, like why is that shot makeable? You know, what would I have to do to make that shot? Just every miss, you have to wonder like why did I miss that shot, and did I have to miss that shot, or was there a way? So I think it's kind of a state of thinking about making the shots and making more shots next time. Yeah, and then I don't know, guys at the matches, just be on the lookout. Try to learn. Like there was one match this year where like I wasn't very prepared, and I was thinking like, you know, with how little shooting I've done, I'm not practiced up enough. I can't hang with these top guys, but so I think the mindset I went with is just let's go out there and learn. Like got 2 days of the match here, big match, lots of good shooters, lots of interesting stages. Let's see what we can learn over these 2 days. And like, yeah, I didn't win that match, but tried to learn a lot. Wasn't too stressed out about like performance and score, and just focused on like, let's see what we can learn.
Can't hang with these top guys after earlier making a statement that I've won the last 2 matches I've attended.
Yeah, I didn't win that match.
Okay.
Okay, solid advice though. I mean, that's literally how you learn to learn, right? No, nothing. Okay.
Learn to learn. Learn to hit. Let's learn to not miss.
Learn to not suck.
There you go.
I get it. Awesome. All right. Well, if you could, okay, Todd will take a keg if you can bottle what you just said.
Just come on out, Todd. We'll see what we can every night get a little better at something. So key there's got to come out there every once in a while.
That's the crux of it all. Yep.
All right. Well, folks, if you're still watching us, make sure you give us a like, a thumbs up, or a heart, or a whatever it happens to be. If you're not subscribed to us on YouTube and you're watching us on YouTube, please shoot a subscribe, because the algorithm doesn't share us around very much. If you're on the Facebooks, make sure you like the page. Even consider giving us a review, because they might actually share us around on Facebook. I don't really know. You can also check us out on our website at bspodcast.ca. You can email us if you want to tell us how much we suck. Our email address is info@bspodcast.ca. You know, speaking of BS Podcast, I had a comment on one of my videos just the other day. There's a guy who was kind of talking back and forth with me about the TM22, and we're commenting back and forth. And then this morning he makes a comment and he goes, you know, I just realized your username And he was talking back and forth with me. He's been watching the channel for quite a while, I guess. And he just this morning realized why we call it BS Podcast.
Oh,
So that was a fun revelation to share with him. Also, a massive thank you to all of our sponsors and all of our listeners. Without you guys, we wouldn't have a show in the first place. In terms of our sponsors, we're talking about Shane and Steve, Miles, Carey and Cappy, Duncan and Rob, Phil Odell, Doug and Niza, Vanya and Carly, Oscar, J.R. Cox. Thank you all an immeasurable amount. And thank you to our listeners who watch us and listen to us each week. I am going to upload this episode to our audio as soon as it is done this evening, because I have sucked hard at that in the last little while, and I'm not going to suck at it tonight. So, Adam,
one additional thing, Vanya texted us quite a bit earlier in the show, just after he jumped into the chat there.
Oh, I haven't looked at my phone.
Right. He says, "Hey guys, sorry for being MIA. We've been swamped with new product development and life. Hunters and Edge scopes are delayed, but we're providing an update to everyone next week with our newsletter blast. The gist is, if you pre-ordered one of those, you'll get yours start of September. Otherwise, it's likely end of October. So just a little bit of an update for those who ordered the Hunters and the Edge scopes from.
You know what? I'm actually okay with that, because they had several delays with the Rival as well, and we got to hear a little bit of the backstory of that after the Rival had come out, and the delays were very much justified, and I suspect that if they're delaying the Hunter and the Edge, I'm willing to bet there's a pretty good reason for it as well.
For sure.
So
getting it right.
September's not that far away. The October, we're getting pretty close. I would really love to take a Hunter out hunting this year and film it. So we'll have to see. But if I can get one by October, that would be pretty cool. But we'll see what happens. Adam, thanks for coming and chatting with us. You probably need to get to sleep at this point. Hey, you're getting up in very few hours to drive to Medicine Hat.
Let's, we'll see how that goes.
We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, it's like 5 hours.
Yeah.
To Medicine, like 4.5. Well, I mean, depending on how you drive, you're going to be leaving at 1 a.m. There's not going to be a lot of people on the road. I'm willing to bet you could do it in 3 3/4 hours if you tried.
I'm a good law-abiding citizen, Chris.
Yeah, I understand. Maybe just sleep till 2:30 and then put the pedal to the floor. Okay. All right. Perfect. I'm glad you're taking my advice. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Make sure you tune in next week when we talk about other crazy things in the gun world.
We have Tacticam on next week, don't we?
Yeah, we do have. We have Aaron from Tacticam on next week.
That's right.
So bring your questions. I know I got questions for him. Now, this will be our second time bringing him on. And I'm just going to say that we're going to have him on this time. Or I'll box him for 10 rounds.
Here we go. He's going to fight him.
All right, guys.
All right, everybody.
See you all next week.
Okay. See you guys.
This right here has the ability with a 30 caliber clip to disperse with 30 bullets within half a second.
Just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber.
You're listening to your weekly dose of BS, ballistically speaking. The Ballistically Speaking Podcast.